Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a really cool glitch effect inside of Final Cut Pro 10. So it looks a little bit something like this. So that's it. It's pretty much just an intro that you can use to any film that you make, and it has this extrude effect right here on the words, and then here again I'm using that extrude effect to create this 3D looking glitch on top of the background. So this can be used for an intro to something like I had used in a short film I just made, but it can also just be used as a background effect or anything. The noise is just simply a VHS like tape being inserted and removed, along with some static noise overlaid. So all of these elements will be available for download in one file in the description, so you can click on that to get all these source files, and let's get started. So what you're going to be doing here is taking this one clip that simply looks like this. It's just a glitch, it's really low res and everything, and then you're just going to be overlaying another effect onto it that looks like this, and you're going to eventually make it that you have this extrude effect along with a fade on in the background. So it starts low opacity and transparency, and eventually it's full transparency so you can see a solid image. So let's see how that's done. Alright, so what you're going to do is take your sound here so you know where to position your glitch effect, and I just put it a little bit after. The inserting of the tape right there. So you can see I give it about a half a second between the end of that noise and the start of the glitch. So what you're going to want to do once you have this clip put on is you're going to cut it just so that you have this single clip that you like, this single segment that looks good to you, and you're going to simply put it to the length that you like, and you're going to select it. Now up here in the inspector, you're going to add a keyframe next to opacity. So under composition, you're going to click the little keyframe button and drag this down to 0 opacity. So this means that you can completely see through it. You see just a blank screen. Now you're going to drag this to the end of the clip and then go back one frame by hitting the back button on your keyboard, and you should still see a blank screen. Now you're going to hit add keyframe again under opacity and composition, and you're going to drag the opacity up to 100% there. And that's just going to apply that fade in effect that you see. So when you play it through, it looks like this. So it slowly comes from a completely blank screen to a fully covered glitch effect. So now what you're going to want to do is add the blue screen intro that is down in the description as well, and it's going to look a little bit something like this. And that looks fine, you know, it looks pretty authentic. However, if you want to add some more cool effects to it, you simply click on the intro section and you take an Alex 4D rotate and extrude plugin. So I'll leave this effect down in the description below if you would like to check this out, and this will also have the same effect that I'm getting. You can pay for a more complex version, however you can also just use the free version that's linked down below to get a very similar effect. So again, this is Alex 4D rotate and extrude. So how you do this is you go into your Alex 4D effect panel under the effects panel in the bottom part near your timeline, and drag on the Alex 4D rotate and extrude tool. So you just drag onto this clip right there, and then you're going to get this menu that pops up in the inspector when you select this clip. And in order to make it look like I have it here, where it's out like that, you're just going to copy down these settings. So you're going to make sure that you have rotate selected, and you have the x-axis around 95 or so. And that's just going to rotate it this way, so you can see as I change that, it flips it around. So you're going to put that around 95. Now around x-axis, that's this rotation-wise, you're going to put it around 25, negative 25, negative 26 is what I have it at. And around z-axis, just set that to 0. You don't have to worry about the origin or background, but you want to make sure you click extrude here. That's what's going to add the big effect there. So make sure you have that clicked. And for angle, I have it set at 345, but it's really all preference. You may like it to look like this or more straight on. But like I said, I have it at 345, adds a bit of a drop to it. Now you can adjust distance again to your liking. You can make it go all the way back if you really wanted, but I like it just about here at 51, or maybe even a bit less. So I just have it around 30, and that looks good for me. Face brightness adjusts how this original clip shows up. So I just want to keep this around 100%, or I guess it's 8. So that's just going to make it that it doesn't affect anything. But again, if you like it to look like that, that's your preference. And that would be 0. So for extrusion on the front, that's just affecting the look of it. Again, kind of face brightness. This may look cool to you. This may look cool to you, something in between. Again, this is really all preference, so I'm just going to keep it like that. It looks kind of cool at 0. Extrusion back does the same thing, but just affects it from the back. So maybe you add a little bit of an effect there, and it looks more transparent. And for the rest of this, you can ignore it and keep it at its original thing. Extrude style, I like shading. If you want to apply gradient, then you can, and change the effect there, but I keep it at shading. If you did choose gradient, however, you can change the coloring under the gradient panel. So at this point, you are completely done this first section of the effect, and you can move on to the second part. So the second part is a very similar process here, and I am going to show you how to do that. So you're going to want to drag on this glitch and VHS overlay, and that's going to be your top clip here. This is a very basic effect, and again, it's really going to be a long clip that you can play with, so you're just going to cut it down until you have the clip that you like. So select that, and you're just going to drag on the Alex 40 rotate and extrude again, just like you did with the other clip. So you're going to get this little panel here again, and I have it looking like this, which I like because it adds a unique look to it compared to the classic just flat thing that looks like that. So in order to do this, you're going to copy down similar settings. So again, you're going to have rotate selected so that you have a 3D effect to it, and you're going to drag around the y-axis to 90 degrees. That is the default degrees, but if it isn't for you, then that's what you should set to. Around x-axis, I have it around negative 20, but again, that's all up to you. So for around the z-axis, I have it set to 0, but you may want to add a bit of a twitch to it, a bit of a turn. It's up to you again. So again, I have origin and background completely off and set to 0, but extrude is turned on. So for this one, I added a bit more distance than the prior effect, because I thought for this you should have longer bars. So again, it's preference, but I like it around 95, looks cool to me. And that makes the effect really apparent. Face brightness, you're going to set it to about 1, which is the default, but you can set it to 0, kind of adds a darker effect to it. Face brightness is what we just did, but extrusion on the front, you may want to mess around with that. For the most part, if you're above about 0.5, it's going to look very similar here, but anything else below that, you can see a visible effect. Extrusion to the back, you may want to drop that off a bit, adds a bit of a fade to the back of it. Clip, back size, let's keep it at its default. And for extruding style, we're going to select shading again. So now you see this. Flashes really fast and has a 3D effect to it. You may also want to drag on what I did to have this black and white thing show up in the back with different textures every once in a while. That's just a dark static effect or clip, so you can just download that from down below, or you can just find another one you like online. Alright, and now at this point you have your full thing, so you can drag on your noise at the bottom and you're ready to go. It looks like this. Alright, and that's the full effect. So now you're all done. You can mess around with the settings again, but other than that, you're set. So thanks for watching. See you next time.